Welcome to Meet Your Mentor. I'm Jack Scott, your host and the Chief Operations Officer of the Mentor Project. For these next few minutes, I will be interviewing one of our world-class mentors. As you listen, you will gain insights into their individual lives as they share their personal journeys of their successes and failures. We will discuss some of the best and worst career advice they have ever received, and I will have them describe in their own words what it means to be a mentor. So without further ado, let's get to it. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I am your host, Jack Scott, and today I have the opportunity to interview an amazing mentor, Dr. Ruth Gotian. She is also the host of our Optimize Your Success, held each week on Mondays from 8 to 9 p.m. EST. So a little bit more about Dr. Gotian. Dr. Ruth Godian is the Chief Learning Officer and Assistant Professor of Education in Anesthesiology. She is also the former Assistant Dean of Mentoring and Executive Director of the Mentoring Academy at Weill Cornell Medicine. She's a contributor to Forbes and Psychology Today, where she writes about optimizing success. During her extensive career, she has personally coached and mentored thousands of people, ranging from undergraduates to faculty member. She is regularly published in journals such as Harvard Business Review and Academic Medicine. She's the co-editor of a book on medical education and won numerous mentoring awards. This only touches on some of Dr. Godian's experience, yet it is extremely impressive. Ruth, I am beyond excited to have you on the show today. I've been waiting for this day for a while. How are you doing today?
And look, I'm talking to somebody from, special ops. So this is a mutual love fest that we have going on here, Jax.
I love it, Ruth. So, obviously, I just told the listeners a little bit about you, but that was from what you had given me from, your bio. But what I would like to know, Ruth, from your own words, tell us more about who Ruth is, something outside of your bio, outside of LinkedIn, outside of your resume that people may not know about you and your career.
So I think what people are most fascinated by was I started my career in finance and moved back to higher education, which is where I started. When you went to college, there was an RA and a hall director. That was me. That was me. And after my 2-year stint in finance, I went back to work in higher education, but really focused on academic medicine. And what the cool thing, which is the never give up, the little engine that could, I decided at the age of 43 that I was going to live out a dream that I have had for over 20 years. I wanted to get my doctorate. I wanted to get it in one particular school. So at the age of 43, I applied to get my doctorate. And outside of 5 people, 3 of whom wrote my letter of recommendation, nobody knew that I was applying. So talk about imposter syndrome and the fear of not getting in. I wanted to get into this one program, this one school. So big hopes, but if you don't try, you've got no one to blame but yourself. I figure in 5 years, I'll be 5 years older with or without a doctorate. So why not go for it and live the dream?
I love that. And I love that about your personality. It's like, just dig in and make it happen. And you study some of the top performers in the world, and you have your show each week. We actually have it. You can find it on the Mentor Project, more about Ruth's show. It's held every Monday from 8 to 9 p.m. EST, Optimize Your Success. And during that time that you have started working with these elite performers and you're starting to learn about how they have optimized their success, what are some things that you're doing in your life that you're noticing, maybe some changes that you're starting to see from these interviews and working with these elite individuals?
So they all do 4 things. All of these elite high achievers who I've interviewed, and it has ranged from Nobel laureates to astronauts to Olympic champions to CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. These are people who have really done extraordinary things. And some of them are household names, and some of them are people you've never heard of, but they have literally moved mountains. And what I've realized from interviewing all of these people is that they all do the same 4 things. The same 4 things, and they do them in unison. And here's the kicker. We can actually do those 4 things. And because we can actually do that, we can make ourselves more successful as well. And I am not just interviewing these people. I am the guinea pig. I am practicing it on myself. And I have seen this huge change in everything from the things that I've achieved to my outlook on what is possible. And that is what is so key. I am taking more strategic risks now than ever before, because really, what's the worst that'll happen? The worst that'll happen is either someone will ignore me or they'll say no. Well, if that's the worst, I'm in no worse shape than I was when I started. So I might as well give it a try. So that has been one of the biggest things that I have done, is really taking those strategic risks and really practicing those 4 pillars of success that all of the high achievers do.
Oh, wow. Being in your field and what you do, I mean, I'm thinking like so many questions, but we only have a select period of time of really diving into your background. What I want to know is, through your career and where you're at today and what you're doing, especially with optimizing your success and the direction that you're going in your career, what wakes you up every morning and drives you and creates that fire inside of you for you to have that passion to drive forward with what you're doing?
So it took me a long time to figure this out, right? I was good at certain things and I knew I was good at it and I was working at it, but I wasn't whistling on the way to work. I was at the beginning, but I wasn't later. So I actually did a passion audit on myself to figure out what are the things that I am good at and that I love to do, and how can I create a job around that? And that's what I did. And that is why I love doing what I do. I help other people become more successful. Everyone's able to do it. They just don't know what the tools are. These are not tools that are only accessible to certain people. These are tools that are accessible to anyone who knows what they are. So I am here to really spread the word on what those tools are to be more successful and to help other people achieve that success. So we are literally pounding the pavement to try and do that through writing articles on the podcast and the show and all of the other things that we're doing.
So what is a passion audit? Can you tell us a little bit more about that? You said that and I'm like, I want to know what this is so I can do it myself.
So a passion audit, you take a piece of paper and it's 3 columns. The first column is going to have everything that you are really good at. It doesn't matter if you enjoy doing it, you don't enjoy doing everything that you are really good at. And you want to be as specific as you can when you write things down. So are you good at mentoring? Are you good at budgets? Are you good at grants? Are you good at writing? Do you like working with people? Do you like working by yourself? All of those details you write down. Are you a problem solver? Are you a problem poser? All of these things listed. The middle one are things that you would give it away. You usually procrastinate doing. No one would take your job away. You wouldn't earn any less money, but it sort of sucks the life out of you. And if you didn't have to do it, you're good, right? Put that in the middle column. And the last column are things you would do for free if you could. And it might be some things from the first column. It might not be. And usually when you're procrastinating, this is what you're procrastinating doing. So maybe you like creating content for social media. Maybe you like talking to people or running focus groups or recording podcasts or editing or anything like that. So you want to take that and then you want to ask other people, what do you come to me for? What am I known for? And then you start adding them, right? Adding those things to the list. And then you have to look at that third column really critically and see, all right, what from that third column am I currently doing in my job? And what could I be doing more of? And what do I have to let go of in order to make room for that? So if you really enjoy mentoring high school girls interested in STEM, but you hate writing grants, if you had to write a grant to fund a program to mentor high school girls interested in STEM, you wouldn't hate writing that grant so much because it's towards something you love. And the research shows you only need to spend 20% of the time doing the things that you love. 20%. So we can do 20%, right? So that's how you can get a passion audit to really crystallize that. Anyone who's interested, there is a passion audit on my website that literally walks you through all those steps.
I love that. And Ruth, what is your website? Just so they know. We'll give you the information at the end.
So that's ruthgotian.com, and the Passion Audit is at ruthgotian.com/passion audit.
Perfect. And again, we will have that information up at the end for you guys to grab. So moving on into the mentoring role that you play here at the Mentor Project. You are not only running the Optimize Your Success, but you have a couple of other initiatives and you are one of our mentors. And I want to ask you what it means to you to be a mentor here at the Mentor Project, to be able to provide your skill sets, your leadership style to the children that we work with that are located around the world.
So I think we definitely work with children, but I think we're also working with adults. And I see myself almost as a mentor's mentor. So I've studied this deeply, and what we need to know is that you cannot have one mentoring style that fits everybody. Mentors need to know how to pivot. So while I'm also a mentor for the Mentor Project, a lot of the mentors actually come to me offline to ask how to approach certain people, certain challenges, certain opportunities. And it also is great because of these different roles that I play, is to really bring people together towards collaborative opportunities. And that is what I really love about the Mentor Project. The mentors come from every imaginable field. And because we come from every imaginable field, we can actually learn from each other. So things that I might not know about in my industry, those are solutions that might have appeared in another industry. So I actually learned so much from the other mentors about different ways of overcoming challenges, different opportunities that exist, but also connecting dots, right? Maybe there's something I'm working on and something else that somebody else is working on. Nobody thought of putting those two things together. But when you do, it could be something really incredible. So that's what I love doing.
You said something I want to just add to and just touch on again is the aspect of the mentoring a mentor, but also the back and forth mentoring that you receive. Even when it's mentor and mentee, you're going to have that back and forth flow if it's the right connect, and you're going to learn from each other. And I love that. With your background and what you've done and the roles that you play, especially being, I do see you as the mentor to the mentors here at the Mentor Project. Can you, in one word, describe what it is to be a mentor and why you chose that specific word?
So there's lots of words, but if a mentor can be inspiring, they have done their job. The mentor is not there to do the work. The mentor is there to inspire the mentee to go further than they thought is possible on their own, to do things they didn't even know existed, because you don't know what you don't know. But a mentor can tell you about things that are available, because especially if your whole world is but a tiny radius, if you have the opportunity to talk to people who have experienced different things, you will learn about these new opportunities. So a mentor is there to really help you career-wise with things like that and tell you about what's possible, tell you how you can move forward and get there. But they're also there to motivate you. Because sometimes going through this, it could be a dark, lonely road. And you look to your right, you look to your left, there's no one else doing what you're doing. So very often you don't have peers who are doing that to bounce ideas off of, to get that empathy, to share those ideas. So you need those other people. So the mentor's there also to pick them up and really encourage them. So there's the career and there's also the psychosocial part of it.
And being a mentor, many times you derive your recommendations or considerations or your guidance from your past experiences. And I would like to know from your personal experience of being a mentee, has there been a time where, and maybe it wasn't a mentor, maybe it was just another influential person that was in your life, a superior, that could have provided you better advice? So the advice they gave you kind of was bad at that time. And if you have an example that you could share with us, what was that advice? And then what did you do about it?
Right. And this is the reason why you need a mentoring team, not just one mentor, but a team of mentors. So somebody actually said to me, somebody senior to me, when I told them that I wanted to get my doctorate, they said, you don't need a doctorate for what you want to do. And that's when I realized that person had no idea what I want to do, never bothered asking. It's what he wanted me to do. And that's why you have a team of mentors. So I took that information. Just because a mentor tells you something doesn't mean you need to do it. And I actually started investigating more and talking to other people about where it is I want to go and what do I need in order to get there. And the issue of getting that doctorate kept coming up over and over and over again. And that's why you really need that team of people behind you. And that's once I made that decision, it was full steam ahead.
I want to ask you the opposite of that, and Ruth, what is the best advice that you have received in your career that has maybe impacted a direction that you were going in that helped you kind of pivot out of it, that you're thankful for, something that happened to you recently?
The reason I am here today is because the advice I got from one of my mentors.
I love that.
When I went back to school, I was actually considering what I want to do for my dissertation project. And my mentor, Dr. Bert Shapiro, he said to me, do something important, not just interesting. Do something important, not just interesting. And because of that, my study went from being an institutional study to a national study. And the national study of looking at the most, at the time, successful physician scientists of our generation, which has now led to the most successful people of our generation. And one of the people who I've spoken to, who will be in the book that's coming out that I'm writing on high achievers, is Dr. Tony Fauci. Everyone knows he's leading the American response to the pandemic. And he said to me, he said the same thing. If it's an interesting question, that's a nice little hobby. You need to answer an important question. Go look for the important questions. So that mentoring advice, I actually have and I take with me every single day, because every time there's another challenge, I ask myself, is that an important question or an interesting question? And that will tell me how much focus and energy I'm going to put in solving that problem.
I love that. Wow. That isn't, I think I'm going to actually write that down in my yellow notebook and take that
in the yellow
me.
notebook.
Yep. All about color coding. So we've got some high schoolers, we've got college kids listening in right now. And there's some of them that could be at a pivotal point in their career, their education, on trying to determine what that next step's going to look like in their career path. And as they're listening to you, they may be interested in maybe going down your particular path. If you were sitting there with a mentee right now, what advice could you provide them that may help steer them or guide them to go into your said career field?
So my career path cannot be your career path. It's my career path. You need to find your career path of things that interest you. And I bet you some of the jobs that interest you don't even exist yet. So don't worry about what I've done. Consider more the process I went through than the things that I have achieved, because the process is what will get you to what you want. And it's the process of finding what you're intrinsically motivated in, asking those important questions, having that perseverance, that strong work ethic, and always surrounding yourself with people who are smarter than you. If you're the smartest person in the room, do yourself a favor and go find another room. Because if you want to grow and you want to succeed, you need to learn from other people. And they shouldn't just be people who are like you, who look like you, who are studying what you are studying, who are interested in the same things you are. The more eclectic the group is, the more you will be able to connect those dots. Remember, we spoke about connecting dots, and that is the sign of a high achiever.
Well said, Ruth. Gosh, I love it. Well, we are coming up on our time, but I have to ask you one more question. It's my favorite one because I love the diversity in the answers that we receive. And that is, what is your favorite quote? That maybe something you had when you were a kid, or it's been with you through your career, or it's seasonal and it changes. Do you have one that you can share with us?
I do have one. And I put it, should be in my favorites, which I will find. It is, if I can find it. It's so good, I want to get it right.
Oh, I understand completely.
Here we go. Ready?
Yep.
They whispered to her, "You cannot withstand the storm." She whispered back, "I am the storm."
I love that one. Oh, I love it. And that is so you. You are such a storm. You are such a powerhouse. Ruth, you're amazing. Before we hop off, though, I know the listeners are going to want to reach out to you and connect with you. Can you provide us, what is the best way for them to be able to reach you?
Absolutely. So my website, ruthgotian.com, RuthGotian.com. The Passion Audit is there, ruthgotian.com/Passion Audit. Also on social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Ruth Gotian. And you can always read my articles in Forbes and Psychology Today. Just put my name, Ruth Gotian, in the search field.
And I would like to add, check her out. Go on to the website as well at mentorproject.org. You can also find more information about her optimizing your success each week on Mondays from 8 to 9 p.m. EST. Ruth, you've been fantastic. Thank you.
I do want to say, with these shows on Monday night, which I love, because you never know who's going to show up.
Mm-mm.
I mean, we've had an astronaut. We're probably going to have an Olympian. And we have like all these incredible people. But it's streamed on Facebook Live, on the Mentor Projects page on Facebook Live. And anyone can ask questions and the high achievers answer them live.
Very good point. It is so cool. Yeah, I love it. Thank you, Ruth. You've been awesome. Thank you for coming on the show today. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you to all our listeners and sponsors who have made this podcast possible. You can check out all our content by going to our website at mentorproject.org. We'd love for you to contact us to get more involved. See you next week when we talk with another one of our amazing mentors.